Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Clinical Scoop. This is where science meets business for clinicians and entrepreneurs. We've got Dr. Al Jazairli. We've got world famous
There you go.
Monica Paola Quitiva, an exclusive 1 out of 1 in the world. And then we've got Chris Sauber, who is very funny, but we can't put the stuff he says on the videos all the time.
Oh, not a good
Uh,
idea.
yeah, not a good idea. So we're talking about C. diff today because I don't even know why. I think from our other podcast we got inspired. So there seem to be a lot of these kind of studies right now. And so I'm pulling up clinicaltrials.gov as I do every time we do this. And there's 61 studies right now that are recruiting or not yet recruiting for C. diff. And the way I searched was just C. diff. I didn't even put the actual name, Clostridium difficile. If I would have put that, I probably would get more. I just put C. diff, and this is what I get. So it's still good to see the just random selection of studies. Dr. Al, can you educate us on a C. diff and why is it so? And then first educate us a little bit, and then why is it so popular right now? Why do you think?
C. diff is like a bacteria that comes in the bowel after the bowel flora and can cause diarrhea and sometimes can cause severe infection that patient need to go to the hospital for that. And I saw some bad cases of C. diff when I was doing my internal medicine residency at the county, and the patient had to stay in the hospital and be on different type of antibiotic. The problem with C. diff, it is the treatment. Most of the patient will respond to the regular dosage of antibiotic, which is the vancomycin or clindamycin, and other patients that need more treatment with more difficult, and there is a lot of resistance to it. Some patients, even the elderly, can die from it. There is a lot of experiment in C. diff, which is really interesting, which is like, I think they call it, they put new stool in the patient bowel, try to create
Fecal
The
matter
new.
fecal
transplant.
transplant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fecal matter
Fecal
transplant,
transplant.
FMT.
yeah,
We should actually have Dr. Sabine Hazen on for this show, but
yeah. The
we
fecal
didn't think we
transplant
didn't think about it.
things. This is how much is they're going into research in the C. difficile. But I'm not infectious disease. I know I don't see a lot as I used to see C. diff patient.
Yeah.
I think that's already approved in Australia, the fecal transplant.
So I'm just
Yeah, it is. Dr.
I saw a couple of
Dr.
cases
Barodi
here
in
in the
Australia.
in the hospital where I practice for C. diff.
Yeah, the Dr. Sabine Hazen here in the United States is an expert. We actually work with her on a IIT for COVID. And in Australia, what Monica's talking about is Dr. Barodi. He's like a pioneer in this space, but we could probably actually have both of them on. If we would have actually planned this better, we could have invited both of them on. But we can do that maybe for next week or the week after. We're not going anywhere, guys. We're Clinical Scoop, and we're here until the internet is unplugged.
that's very
Uh,
it's a very long time. So
yeah,
I'm
very
I'm
long.
curious, Dr. Al, how I've heard from other doctors this is highly contagious. Is this highly contagious? Is this something you
It
can
is.
catch
It
off the
is.
counter?
Yeah, but when a patient diagnosed with C. diff in the hospital, they put him in isolation by
Oh
himself,
wow.
and you can't go inside unless you wear glove and gown. Okay, mainly because it's a contact isolation as
Can you breathe it, or it's a just touch?
no, you can't breathe it. It's
Oh,
only
okay.
through the contact.
So
Okay.
they treat it like it's COVID, kind of, as far as
Yeah,
isolation.
it's much easier than COVID.
Oh, okay.
You
It's not
can
as
breathe through
bad
it.
as COVID.
So,
Sure.
so the
But
reason Chris is asking is because we get this study offered at one of our sites, and the coordinator is very scared, and she said we need a hood. You know how you have the hood in the lab. So I was wondering, what's the rationale for this? But the
I don't
doctor was also
understand it.
saying something similar. So it's basically through contact. You can't get it on your hands. You can't. You have to be very
You
careful
have
with
to
it.
just like wear gloves and mainly and a gown. Make sure that you wear a gown that to isolate you from the when you get in touch with the patient. That would be more than enough.
What are you
Wash their
worried
hands.
about with the patient? Are you talking about if you're handling their stool or just touching their hand, shaking their hands?
And most probably it is the stool, but these patients in the hospital, at least as I know, most of them that they have this bad strains of C. diff, like they have the stool sometime in the bed, and the nurses have to change it and like this, and some contamination can happen, and that's
Okay,
why.
okay,
Hmm.
I
So
got you.
Wow.
it's not something you want to get, and it's permanent, right?
Usually, if you are healthy and young, and shouldn't be a problem, one course of antibiotics should take care of it. But in
Oh,
case the elderly patient, the immune compromised, the patient who's getting treatment for uh, rheumatological or oncological condition, their cases will be much more difficult.
okay. So it is curable.
It is 100%. Most of the
Oh, okay.
cases are curable. Very rare cases that's really
So
difficult.
why is there so much research on it all the time if it's curable?
I need to go through the trials and see what they're offering, what kind of
Let's do
studies
that
they
then.
have.
That's
Let's
Yeah.
why we're
go. We're
here.
on one.
That's
We're
why
on
we're
one right
here.
now. This is exact. Thank you, Chris. This is
Mhm.
you're always just bringing it back to, the reason, the sole purpose for our existence right now
But
is
not
to
world,
help
but not
people.
world famous. I need to get
Not
to
world
world
famous.
famous.
Only Monica is world famous right now. Okay, phase 2 study of VE303 prevention recurrent C. diff consortium study. So they want 146 patients.
Let's
Let's look.
let's go back and see what is VEE
Oh, okay, let's see.
here.
Can you read? Because you guys' pictures is in the way.
Yeah.
Somebody read it. Somebody read it.
You can move it. You can move it to the top or to the other side.
Oh, okay.
Or you can put
VE303
it up.
prevention of subsequent CDI associated diarrhea. So what is VE3? Let's see. Let's go down. Uh,
It was there more.
wait. Where would they have
Right
the
here.
info?
It's right there. You just passed it. Intervention treatment. V303 is a
Okay.
live
Yeah.
biotherapeutic product containing a clonal human common
Commercial.
cell. It doesn't say commercial. It says common cell.
Bacterial strains.
Manufactured under GMP conditions.
Okay. So basically, it's like a microbiome, no?
I don't know. Dr. Al?
Biotherapeutic. Wouldn't
Clonal
that be
human common cell bacterial strain.
microbiome? No,
Manufactured in
or is
the
that something else?
GMP condition.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Uh,
Common cell bacteria, clonal human common
Clonal
cell.
human common cell bacterial strains
So
manufactured
synthetic,
under G. Uh,
synthetic, synthetic microbiome.
ah,
Isn't that what they
look it
gave
up.
Trump? They gave Trump a synthetic antibody. Uh,
Let's look at it. The first one, Dan.
this
Yeah. Clonal human common cell bacteria strain. What is this?
Staphylococcus. I don't think that tells us. Hold on. Clonal human commensal bacteria strains. Selected for their ability to suppress allergic responses and manufactured under CGMP conditions. So it's synthetic, something synthetic. I don't know how they do that.
Sure. This is
VE416.
VE416. That is VE333.
Yeah. Clonal human commensal bacterial strains selected
Yeah.
for their ability to suppress allergic responses.
Click on VE303 at the top, Dan.
Oh, okay, let's see. Orally administered, rationally defined bacterial consortium candidate for high-risk C. diff. 8 types of clonal human commensal bacterial strains selected for their ability to provide colonization resistance to C. difficile and manufactured under CGMP. It is produced under CGMP conditions from pure clonobacterial cell banks, which yield a standardized drug product in powdered form and bypass the need to rely on direct source of fecal donor material or inconsistent composition.
So this would be
Wow, very
so
interesting.
so this would be for the more difficult cases that just a typical
Exactly.
antibacterial
Resistant.
treatment doesn't get, yeah.
Resistant and recurrent cases of C. diff.
But if I understand correctly, this is not a actual bacteria. They're cloning a bacteria synthetically, like a microbiome.
Mm-hmm. That's why they called it commensal.
Wow. Okay.
Commensal bacteria.
This is it's almost like science fiction, but it's reality. So you have, I mean, yeah, what a time to be alive, guys. You have VE303. Okay, so they're looking, this is standard. They're looking for the CDI recurrence, primary outcome. And this is a phase 2
Two.
with 146 patients. It's a lot.
Wow.
And let's see what the eligibility criteria: provide consent, qualifying CDI episode or a prior history of CDI diarrhea, or first occurrence of CDI diarrhea with a high risk for recurrence. CDI symptoms must have started within 30 days. It's for anyone 18 and older. It's pretty simple. Inclusion. Exclusion is history of diarrhea that is not related to C. diff, which they define that as 3 or more loose stools per day lasting for 4 weeks. Known or suspected toxic megacolon and or known small bowel ileus at time of randomization. Contraindication to oral enteral therapy, reflux, prior administration of genetically modified live bacterial fungal. So this is kind of what this is and then here's the fecal matter transplant. Fecal microbiota transplant is excluded if you had in the last 6 months.
Wow.
So
I wonder what's the prevalence of this condition. What's the community that gets this the most?
Patient with an antibiotic.
Oh, as far as
Patients
like
take an
demographic.
antibiotic, they change the flora of the bowel, and then the C. diff can dominate and cause the infection.
I see. Here's the contacts. We can contact both Lorraine and Monica and Chris. Make sure you're taking notes with this.
Yeah, taking lots of notes. I had to look up commensal. I didn't know what that meant, so sorry.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
I know now.
1 second.
Well, that makes 1 of us.
Exactly.
Dr. Al knows. Dr. Al knows.
I didn't know.
You don't know what commensal means?
No, I didn't know.
What does it mean?
Oh,
Educated. Don't keep it to yourself, Chris. This is a podcast.
it means it's a relationship between 2 organisms in which one benefits and one neither receives a benefit or a negative.
Oh.
It's mean parasitic.
Well, parasitic, there would be a negative associated with that, typically, right?
This is 1 positive
host.
and 1 neutral?
Yeah, 1 positive, 1 neutral.
Okay.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Wow.
We need to send this video to, well, we can't email. You see, these guys are sneaky. They put both have the same phone number, so that's going to go to office. And then
And the same email.
yeah, so I mean, we could probably find them on LinkedIn, but I don't want to do that because we've shown people how to do this before. But we can network. Look, Nguyen V from Phoenix at the Mayo Clinic. They won't play ball with us, but Phoenix Clinical LLC probably would.
Before we network,
everybody
you had a question from Monica. She wanted to know who suffers from this the most. Like the last time we
diversity
did this.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you could Google it.
Is there any correlations?
I don't know.
No, I think that the lower the socioeconomic, the more chance of having infection, the more chance of having. You can rationalize it at this.
So it's more age than anything related. It sounds like.
He said it's more antibiotic related. The incidence of C. diff is estimated to be 140 per 100,000 people in the U.S. 65 cases are associated with healthcare settings, 25% associated with previous hospitalizations. Patients of all age groups, nearly half a million. Who is most at risk for C. diff? Age, more than 80% of 65 and older. Complicated medical care and extended stays in healthcare settings, especially hospitals and nursing homes, and like Dr. Al said, certain antibiotics. So I don't think this one has anything to do with race, for example, lupus or schizophrenia, like we looked at last week.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just age. It's ageist.
Age and antibiotics, like certain antibiotics. People that take antibiotics for a long time or a significant period of time, it looks like, for whatever reason. Weakened immune systems too.
Hmm.
Nursing homes, hospitals. Okay, so we learn more. And you can then network with all these. Look, these are all U.S. sites, so this is a good sign for anybody watching and listening.
Dan, can you send me the link of this study, please?
Yeah, I'll
Thank
do it
you.
now, but I don't want to put my inbox on the public.
Oh, no, on
Okay.
my phone or something after.
Yeah, let me share it to me. AirDrop. Let's see. This is why I like Apple. Look at that. Boom, send it to my iPhone, and now I have it. And now you guys can't see my phone, guys. Stop trying to be sneaky all the time and looking at screens. VE303 colonization. Okay, so primary outcome. So this is a study that actually, Dr. Al, we had your colleague last week, Dr. Srini, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would he be interested in this?
I think it's mainly for GI doctor, but the site itself will be. We have a couple of GI doctors that will be interested in this also.
Okay.
You know,
What do you think as a site owner yourself, people that don't know, maybe they don't know you're a site owner, but Dr. Al owns a site, multi-therapeutic. Dr. Al is an oncologist and a hematologist. Um, what would be your concern? Like, let's say this was to be done in your clinic. What would be your concern with this as a site owner?
mainly as like what the requirement for the site to have it. Do they need to collection or of the stool, or do they need or the requirement is just like give this oral medication and follow up on it?
Would this be safe for your waiting room and your other
Exactly.
patients?
That's what we, especially for me. Okay, that's what
In
be the main
oncology.
thing.
I mean, you
That
have a
to
lot of
see to look at the synopsis of the study itself and see
right,
what
Yeah.
the, how
but
they how I will be conducting the study, what the requirement to conduct the study.
somebody who's currently active with C. diff, is it okay for them to sit in the waiting room with people that have a
They
reduced
have, if they don't
immune
have any
system?
active liquid stool,
Okay.
okay, they can, some patients that can, in the waiting room, sometimes they have an accident and they,
Is that bad?
they
Is that prevalent?
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mm.
So it depends on the study itself. The requirement just like to give the pills and watch, or to collect stool, or to.
Hmm.
So a serious question for this, like for this type of a study, if you're doing multi-therapeutic, uh, obviously you're trying to keep these patients kind of separate from other people and patients.
Exactly.
Do you let them use the restroom, or do you should have your own restroom for them, or how does that
That's
work?
that's to see the requirement, but it's preferable to have their own restroom.
Just for the C. diff patients?
Hmm. If you're running this study.
Yeah, because it looks like, I mean, for a study like this, it doesn't really say, but I imagine you'll be collecting stool samples, because how else are you going to analyze the microbiome, characterize the VE303 colonization fecal microbiome after 14 days? So you're probably going to need to collect stool samples. Secondary objective,
Yeah, you absolutely.
yeah.
Hmm.
So this is like probably a good budget, and probably because they want 146 patients, and they only have like a few sites, not that many. Look at Florida has a lot. Let's see California. California only has one, two, three. Oh,
Or
we know her. We can
Ventura.
actually get this study. We know Dr. Hazen, so she can share this study
You
contact
were
with
talking
us.
about that earlier.
Well, I mean, we should have had her on this podcast, but yeah, so
Yeah.
she's doing it. I told you she's a GI expert like in the world, so she's doing this. And next time Chris and I go monitor, we can go ask her about this.
Yeah. Where does she have people with this go to the bathroom?
Probably where we go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
I'm gonna avoid that
That's what I
bathroom.
was thinking.
I'm gonna avoid that
Yeah.
bathroom.
I don't know how she's running the study, but most probably she's sending somebody to home of the patient to collect the stool or
That's
something.
true.
More likely.
I monitored a this is true. Good point. and a serious point. So I actually monitor one of her studies for ulcerative colitis, and the patients bring with them a stool sample.
Mm.
Exactly.
So it's sealed, and a coordinator takes it to the lab. And so I don't think poses a risk to her other patients that are there, or like
Exactly.
monitors, for example. That's good, but these are practical. See, where science meets business for clinicians. So this is a good one. So let's see what else is there. So yeah, Monica, you're gonna remember this, or I'm gonna text you this one.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll text you this one. VE303. Uh, FMT. Okay. It's only being done at one place though, so let's not do that one. This one's being done at 37 places. Microbial restoration.
What does
Let's see.
FMT stand for?
Fecal matter transplant.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
200 participants. Started in 2019. They anticipated to complete in April 2020.
We are in October now.
We're in October and it's still ongoing. So the COVID probably delayed this. Let's see how many sites. 40 locations, so it's good. Let's see. Dr. Hazen's not doing this one, but you got a competitor here, Dr. Al, Los Angeles, but not yet recruiting. So we don't even know who that is. This sponsor. Let's see who's the sponsor. Rebiotics. So they're a small one. You can actually contact the director. Call them. We can call them live on the air and talk to them. Let's see what.
Probably not a good idea, but sure.
Watch me get hung up on.
Let's
So
try it first off air, and if it works, then we go on.
Hello,
We'll
Paul.
let
You're
world-
on live.
we'll let world famous Monica do it because she's the best when it comes to this. So I will share this. I will also share this so that you can get it. But yeah, what do you think about? Do we know anything about rebiotics? Have you guys ever heard of them?
I've never
Huh?
heard of that.
No.
No,
Rebiotics. Let's see. Rebiotics. Microbiota restoration. So you get somebody running, and they're pointing at a computer. But
That first line's right out of Dr. Hazen's mouth.
harnessing the power of microbiome to revolutionize treatment of disease. So let's see what's in the pipeline. It's probably this one we're looking at, which is Punch. That's the name. Punch CD3 OLS. RBX 2660. So I bet you that's in the pipeline here. Yeah, see RBX 2660. Enema formulation. Okay, so they're like a newer because they only have their furthest along is the phase 3 now. This is the phase 3, so this is the one they're furthest along. So this
This is a
actually
good
would be a good
company.
company to network with.
I think a good company to connect with. If you go back to their website, you see they have different GI study where they do the ulcerative colitis and multi-drug resistant and hepatic encephalopathy for liver failure.
Oh yeah.
So it is. You can, if you're not succeeded, or you don't want to do the C. diff, you can do the other one, the ulcerative colitis or multi-drug resistant UTI or hepatic encephalopathy. So it's a good company for a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, let's show people what we do, how we roll with LinkedIn. Paul Plumb. Yeah, see, Director of Clinical Operations. Let's add him. And maybe send him this video later. Yeah, so see, we can talk to him about. This is how you network, guys. But as far as the science, I don't know what's going on here. So what do you guys? What is this, Dr. Al? Where do I?
That study?
Yeah, this is the Let me find some info on the.
Here, there is a prospective multicenter label.
I don't know where they're having info on the drug. Oh, right here. Microbiota suspension administered as an enema.
That would be a fun trial.
A good one to do from any PI. What do you think about this, Dr. Al? Like, this is standard or not so much?
Mm,
For GI doctors?
Not for GI, maybe, but for my practice, no. You need to get a GI doctor here. You need to get Dr. Hazen, get her opinion. Don't ask me about this.
Dr. Hazen would do this for sure.
Yeah, exactly, but I will not.
The difference,
GI doctor, my friend.
the difference between this one and the last one.
Man,
What was the
you
last
need to
one?
have a special place for this thing.
The last one didn't have an enema.
What was the last one? Just a synthetic clonal.
Yeah,
But how did they administer
oral.
this? Oral?
Yeah,
That was oral?
yeah.
Okay, so this is an enema. Okay. I
So
mean,
it's
hey,
like a place that's colonics. That's probably the
yeah. I'm sure you need special equipment and all that stuff for this, but
yeah.
Dr. Hazen would be a good fit for this. So FMT in the past 6 months. Yeah, so maybe no for most sites for this one. But if you are one of the GIs that does this,
I
that would
think
probably
GI
be a
doctors,
yes.
they do it most of the time because
Yeah.
they do colonoscopy and they do the enemas and like this. But also for the, you need to sit with a GI doctor that's who's experienced in these kind of things to see how they do these kind of studies.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
for
I can't
those,
believe so many studies, 61 studies.
yeah,
see-
so for those, I'm looking here at the locations and I click only when I see like a lot, like 30,
58.
58. If I see like, for example, this one's only one site,
Yeah.
58 means it's a big study that they'll consider many sites, so it's good to click. And
Open label.
yeah,
What is this?
70 participants. Open label extension of CP101. Okay, so you have to be in the
It's
CP101 trial with a recurrent
transfer.
C. diff. So let me go back and find that one now.
It's an extension.
Yeah, this is an extension of the one I want to look at, so it's going to make it hard for me, but we've never been stopped before. We don't let adversity, get us down. And it looks like they're using this for autism too. So here's the C. diff one.
Wow.
Open label extension, so that's not the one we want. Efficacy, safety of the,
No,
this must be the one.
no, this is not recruiting yet.
No, they're done recruiting.
Yeah, because
It's
they're done,
completed.
yeah. So this is the
It's
study that
completed.
we want to analyze. Like, we pretend like you can do it because you can't get the extension study unless you were in this one. So we have to look at this one. And yeah, completed, so that's why they're doing the extension. It makes sense. But orally administered, so here it's a little bit easier for most sites to administer. Sustain. So what is this drug? Full spectrum microbiota.
It's the same as the one microbiota, the one before.
Okay.
Orally, but this is orally that was rectally.
And it's a different formulation, right? Like
Yeah.
they put different formulas in there based on the company that it is. This company is Finch Research and Development. So they show the sites, but only the city and the zip code. They don't show you the names or emails. Let's see if they give you a name or email of the sponsor here. I don't think so. So you would have to just Google this company. Where was it?
Finch.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find it so I could copy and paste. So, here we go. See, usually they put a contact there.
They have the trial website. See, underneath.
Why you don't go to LinkedIn and see what will show up under Finch?
Then right
Okay.
here, when it says more information, the trial website. Down
Where? Down?
Down.
at the end.
Oh,
yeah,
right here, additional
just there,
info. That's why you're world famous, Monica. You're about to leave to go to trial website. Okay, Prism EXT. Join the fight against recurrent C. diff. So this is The sponsor is this is the study website though, but that's just like their advertisement. I want to see who the company is. Dr. Nilay Mehta, Director of Research.
See?
Yeah, so we're gonna connect with him, and also Anne Marie Conway, Vice President. So here, we're gonna talk to the VP and say your company was featured. We would love to interview you on the Clinical Scoop. If you want to do that, we will. So that's the person. So that's basically, I mean, you kind of see some C. diff stuff. What did we see? We saw microbiota, whether orally administered or through an enema. And then we also saw synthetic clonal microbiota, right? Synthetic clonal microbiota administered orally. So that gives you an idea of what's out in the research right now. I think the use of most sites would only do the first and maybe the last one if they think they have the patients. The only GIs who probably do the one where that requires enema because you need special equipment for this. But yeah, I mean, that's what we do on the Clinical Scoop, guys. We share, we talk a little bit. We have experts come on also and discuss. And we talk about how, practically. By the way, all of those studies we looked at, probably really good budgets. Would you not say so, Chris?
Yes, but I'd also like to point out it's difficult to get these patients because we looked at a number of these studies and they have almost a 1-to-1 ratio of sites to participants.
And also in the statistics, the demographics, it says that 140 people out of 100,000. So.
Because as you go back to the prevalence of the disease is not this high. And this is they're looking for recurrent disease. That means not all the patient is being diagnosed, the patient who's been diagnosed and they have a relapse.
Wow,
That's
it's even
why.
more difficult.
Yeah, very difficult.
That's why they want so many sites for just a small amount of patients. So literally, you think you get one patient for this, it's worth doing because most of the sites probably enrolling 1 or 2.
Yeah, most 4.
Right.
Most likely.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. It was a great episode that we filmed. And we got to do it again next week. And Chris, we actually see Dr. Hazen next week. So maybe
really?
we can, we see
Do
her
again.
we go on Tuesday. So maybe we can invite her for Wednesday to come on the Zoom and join us. And we'll talk about her favorite topics, fecal matter transplant and microbiomes.
We'll learn a lot.
We'll do a
That's
continuation of this next week because this is very important.
Yeah, she thinks those transplants can cure almost everything.
Well, you saw the indications on here was autism was one of them. And it's not just the transplant, just the microbiota and how you get it in, like through the enema or through the
How she
synthetic.
feels autism?
She's doing like clinical trial. She does fecal matter transplant too.
She thinks
So
it cure.
she changed the flora of the bowel and
Yeah, from what she tells me, if someone with autism,
Alzheimer's too.
she will take
Alzheimer's,
yeah, but I don't know the specific about the Alzheimer, but from the autism, she'll take the stool sample of a healthy relative, like ideally a young, healthy relative, and transplant it into the sick person. And she said she's cured psoriasis with this too.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Alzheimer's, I don't know.
You know what? I will not be surprised with this results because there is some kind of biology between the bowel and the brain and the bowel and the body because they tell you that the bowel is the brain of the body also.
That's right. Like the second brain. The second brain.
So I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I have not heard that before. So the bowel is the
There's
brain.
a lot of things you never heard before, Chris.
I know there is.
Live and learn.
Thank you.
Live and learn.
Also French. The French.
Oh my gosh.
You live and learn, Chris. I like this, Dr. Al.
Fair enough. I take no issue.
That is funny. On that note, we live and learn another week with Dr.
Yes, we
Hazen
do.
next week. And then we'll have her.
Potentially.
She wants to come on the Guru podcast. So we're gonna do that. She already called me to do one on Tuesday, and then I'm gonna tell her either most likely Wednesday next week we'll film the like a part 2 to this. We'll continue with C. diff, but we'll also look at other applications, and she'll just talk forever about this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Good.
So we'll
Looking
have her
forward
on, and
to
I
you
want
next
Dr.
week.
Al on. I really want to see the dynamic between you and her. So
No,
Yeah.
I would like to listen to her and learn from her all these new things that it's not my field, so it's very interesting to learn.
yeah, and we'll have Chris ask more questions about things that he's never heard
Enemas.
of.
Yeah, enemas.
Yeah, enemas. It'll be awesome. Next, we'll find a French doctor, and it'll be complete.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Poor Chris. Poor Chris.
Chris, at this rate, you'll be world
It's
famous
okay.
Chris Aubertu.
For all the wrong reasons, but that's okay.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, everybody, for watching and listening. And we'll catch you all later. All right.
Everybody have a good evening.
week.
Au
Have a
revoir.
good evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.